Hey, thanks again for joining us for another Real Talk. With me today is Gabe Wallace. Hey, thank you so much for joining me today. Gabe has been coming to Passionate Life Church for
Couple years now.
Yeah. Him and his family. And so I just wanted to have him on. He is in the workplace. He works for a construction company, but he also has a very large family, 4 kids.
Yes.
4 kids. And so, in this series, this Real Talk series, we want to have real people on that are going, how are you feeling during this pandemic and this whole COVID? How does it affect your family and your marriage? And then also your business, because there's a lot of people whose business has been affected, their workplace has been affected. They used to go to workplace, but now they work from home. And so I just wanted to have you on to share just your perspective of how this whole thing has affected you and your family.
Yeah, no, appreciate you inviting me on and asking me from my perspective on it. Yeah, my name's Gabe Wallace. I work for a construction company out of Evergreen. And, when this COVID first kind of hit, started hearing about it in the media a lot in, late January, February. Initially, our finance guy came and, had all these plans, wanted us to make all these changes. And I said, time out. Hey, really, at the end of the day, we want to be followers in this. Coming from the business perspective, we want to see what everybody else is doing and kind of follow and copy what they do, So initially we, downplayed it a little bit, not knowing that we were going to get shut down and things like that. And then
how long were you guys shut down for?
Company, we didn't technically get shut down. Okay. So I guess when the shut down to restaurants and things like that happened mid-March. We were watching the media, things like that. That's when we started getting a little bit nervous that, hey, they may shut us down. But then when they ruled, construction as an essential business, we said, hey, okay. But we also didn't want to ruin it for everybody else. So at that point, we, started seeing what other folks were doing and kind of outlined a plan for our company to kind of match what other people were doing,
Right.
So.
And so how did it affect the way you guys did business, if it did affect you guys, on the job site and stuff like that?
For sure, yeah. So at our job site, our safety guy got real involved and started, coming up with deals for, making sure people are, keeping their distance, things like that. At this point, we didn't really know what COVID was other than, hey, the media is telling you people are dying from it and stuff. So, people started keeping their distance and sanitizing things a lot. Our main office, we, kicked most of the folks out for, a month, 6 weeks to work from home and things like that. Luckily, I was fortunate enough to be able to stay working from that office because, like you said, I own 4 kids and I wouldn't be able to work from home. Right. So I was fortunate enough to be able to stay working at our main office, and there were just a few of us in there.
Yeah. So have you felt like the stress levels have gone up on the work site?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when this first hit, I want to say that every day I was just totally drained talking about COVID for, 8-10 hours a day for like 3 weeks. And finally it was like, hey, we're over it. Let's talk about work and something else and get rid of the, talking about COVID every day. So
that's good.
And
so how has your family dynamics changed, if they have changed, with schooling and then your marriage? I know a lot of marriages have been a little bit more stressful, during that period of time. We just go ahead and share it from your perspective.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if I did have to work from home, I could see how being around my wife every day, she may get frustrated with me. So luckily I was able to maintain that by still going to work. Of course, there was nobody on the road, no traffic, things like that, which was pretty wild. Yeah, for sure. But, and from the kids' perspective, we're fortunate enough where, my wife homeschools, but a lot of the extra activities that she did, which were 3 days a week, from community Bible study to a few other like enrichment programs, got shut down, and she wasn't able to do those. So her stress level probably went up more so than mine with being around the kids 100% of the time. So, one of the things I've tried to, push with her is, hey, all right, it's Saturday, I'll take the kids and you go do something with your friends or by yourself or something like that so she can recharge,
That's good. So. How has your faith been affected through all of this, seeing your business and the COVID and then family, and because you are a man of faith, and so just share, how has your faith been affected through this? Is it?
That's a good point, because whenever the churches first got shut down, we tried for a couple of weeks, and just be honest, we probably went 2.5 weeks with being able to watch services on the computer. It's hard to connect, because you don't really connect with people unless you're there in the room, being able to worship together and things like that. And man, we weren't able to do that. And so quite frankly, we kind of stopped for a while. And then when we heard PLC was opening up late May, it was like, hey, we're in. We need church. That's something that we were definitely missing. So we were very fortunate and very glad that you guys opened first. Like I told you, industry leaders in church,
Yeah, we're just following Jesus. That's what we're doing here. And, you're not uncommon. We've heard that from a lot of people all across the whole United States. They're just, I can't do online. I got kids, it's just trying to watch church with kids in the room is almost impossible.
Oh, yeah.
And especially you got little kids,
man.
And it's just really hard to focus and connect. And, we need to gather together. And we've heard that as people start coming back to church, it's just different when you're in the room, just the presence of God. And there's nothing like live worship. There's really nothing like live worship, being able to worship together in the house of God. I just want to ask you one more last question here. What has been the hardest part of COVID, and where has humility and understanding fit in through this whole, I guess we call it pandemic or during this process? Because you've been pretty blessed,
Yeah, for
you've
sure.
been pretty blessed during this.
Yeah. The hardest part is, I know one of the things that really hit me hard was when the government first shut down all of the, restaurants and non-essential industries and stuff like that. That definitely, it didn't physically impact me because it didn't affect my business or my livelihood, but I definitely considered, really, like all the single moms out there, all the people who that's their line of income, and they weren't able to earn a living. And, the government's going to make these policies for, you can't evict them and things like that. But man, they're losing out on all of that income. They're, the rules of the game changed overnight from how they were able to earn income to how they are today. And that was one of the biggest things that hit me.
It's a big extreme.
For sure. And then the uncertainty, really glad this summer hearing your messages on Fear Factory, like watching that, the intro to the Fear Factory, my daughter covers her eyes, when that thing comes on, which is hilarious. But, it's like, that was real stuff, that definitely hit home for a lot of people. And, one of the things that is awesome is that through this, since other churches didn't open, my wife was able to invite several of her friends, and I want to say that, she probably has, 4 other, families that have started coming to this church through that, which is awesome. But it's really the uncertainty when you look at not knowing where this is headed. A lot of people are, prepping for disaster and things like that. It's like at the end of the day, cool, we'll get another, case of toilet paper when it's available. But, other than that, luckily I live out in the country, and I'll just shoot a deer if we get hungry enough,
There you go. That's awesome. Hey, thanks again for being with me and sharing your heart and just kind of what you've been going through and being able to see God bring you guys through it. When situations like this happen, either it draws you closer to God or it tears you apart. And just being able to realize, what your family needs and being the head of your household and saying, hey, we need to be back into church because this online thing isn't working for us, for our family. And just being able to be the initiator and the leader of your home and saying, hey, this is what we need. And I give you props for that and just stepping out and doing that, because a lot of people are living in fear and in today, in today's society with all the media and just the fear based. And so, man, I just want to encourage you in that and being the man of your household and leading well. And so again, thank you for being with me today on Real Talk. Hey, thank you for joining. Stay tuned for our next episode soon. Have a great day.